when the world is calling you? Can you hear them screaming out your name? Legends never die, they become a part of you. Every time you bleed for reaching greatness, relentless, you survive. They never lose hope when everything's
All right, we are live, apparently.
Are we?
Okay, yeah, we're live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of the Risen Esports pre-season 4, our Risen Esports show match. Today is the second day featuring Dominate teams, and Dominate teams for today will be Team 00X, 0X, and Team DYS. I'm not going to attempt this. Author? Would you like to
Hello,
attempt this
everyone. I
name?
am Author Cook, your color caster for the first block of the Dominate show matches today. This will be your first glance at some of the teams that will be playing in Season 4 of Dominate. Today we have DYS Dyslectic Denefniders. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Versus Xerox, spelled with a Z. This is going to be really fun. I am honestly really excited for this one. We've got some familiar faces in this game today. In particular, we've got Umbria, who played top for M&M last season, as well as a couple members of CMP. And on the side of Xerox, we actually have My Name is Zach, who was top for Pot of Greed last season, and Squamp, who was the bot lane ADC and the captain for Team Rhombus Head.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what people will bring. Of course, this is a show match, won't affect anybody's standings. So whether or
It
not those
means we
people
could
stick
get
fun,
even
especially.
more interesting stuff than usual.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah, we're ready
mean,
to pick some bands.
all right, let's take a look then. All right, first up, we've got Janna coming down as a ban from DYS, and Nami in response, which absolutely makes sense to me. Crown Me Kid, we were just talking about before we went live, has a lot of very meta support picks in his pool right now. Janna, Nami, and Lulu are among his top masteries.
House of Apes as
Which,
well. No,
yeah.
we're talking about that too.
All right, so Evelyn has been banned. Definitely a targeted ban against T minus, as Evelyn is his second most mastered champion. I'm kind of surprised we didn't see the Elise ban, although, like I said, it might be because Elise just isn't very strong in the meta right now. But T minus does, for our viewers, have 918,000 mastery points on Elise, which is just an absurd number. We are seeing the Caitlyn pick come down for Percy1803 on the side of Dyslectic. This doesn't surprise me much. It's a very aggressive pick because it does kind of take away one of Squamp's best champions, and Caitlyn is very strong in the meta right now.
Yeah, very standard pick, very clean pick as well. You know, it's nothing that will sort of throw your team comp out there. Caitlyn can really fit in any sort of team comp.
Yep. And there's the Kaisa pick coming in response. Not surprising at all. Even though she's gone through 2 or 3 successive rounds of nerfs at this point, she's still very, very strong.
For sure, yeah, for sure.
And Morgana getting picked up is very, very good. She is, I believe, right now still the highest win rate support in the current patch. Very, very strong and aggressive. She's good. She's just great for so many reasons. She's great for a lot of the same reasons that the other enchanter supports are strong in this meta right now, with the added bonus that, like a brand, she kind of is a backdoor win condition.
Yeah, you know, it's like even though 0x banned out Tahm Kench, Morgana's like the mage version of Tahm Kench. Perfect mixture of the sort of almost infuriating level of supporting that Tahm Kench can give, and at the same time puts a lot of poke damage down as well.
There's the Karma and the Olaf. Karma, very flexible pick. She can go well, pretty equally well in both the mid lane and the support role right now. And we do see Kane getting picked up in response.
Okay, that's pretty expected considering T minus. His Kane is also one of his most played champions. Already over 100 games this season. I'm practicing it.
Darius getting banned here. I got to be honest and say I'm not 100% sure that I get this pick in particular.
Yeah, neither do I against Umbria.
Umbria has I'll be honest, with Umbria, I'm really, really surprised. Unless there was a deal beforehand saying that they weren't going to ban out Umbria's Mordekaiser,
But not
because
everyone's
Umbria
favorite
has
Mordekaiser.
almost 5 times as many games on Mordekaiser as he does on any other champion.
Oh, and there's no Mordekaiser ban, so
Yeah, it's
Either.
open.
either Zero X picks Mordekaiser themselves, which is probably the worst idea possible. I mean, once you play a champion so much, you know how to play against her.
In most cases.
Yeah. So
In
we'll
most
see what
cases.
Zero X puts out to challenge the Mordekaiser. It won't be a Maokai.
Ooh,
See if-
that's good though. That makes sense to me because here's the thing with Maokai. Maokai can lose lane and still be very impactful
Yeah, for
in
sure.
late. As long
He's
as
very
you
goal
don't like
efficient.
as long as you don't get slam dunked like 0-5 in lane, you're not going to lose your team the game by losing lane. You're still going to be very
It
impactful.
is possible he does pick the Yorick though. A little
Okay.
bit stronger than Mordekaiser when it comes to, it's kind of hard to analyze considering how low Yorick's pick rate is and how little impact he has on the real meta.
Ooh, Swain for the mid, which
Yorick might
means
be.
that
It might be Umbria's second
support
most
Yorick
played
maybe. Support Yorick, top Swain, mid Karma. It's possible. Not good, but possible.
Yeah,
It is
like,
a show match.
So yeah, I
All
would
right, unless
recommend
I'm
you do it.
mistaken, we need to see a mid lane pick. Well, I guess Morgana also could go mid or support, but I'd expect her to be support against a
Oh.
Caitlyn.
We do have a message from. This is just way earlier on where it doesn't even matter anymore. But the Warwick ban that we saw from Zero X was supposed to be a Zac ban. However, at this point, it
Okay.
doesn't quite matter, as we
Interesting.
did see DYS pick up that Olaf.
And there is Anivia. Round out the team comp for Xerox. All right. So at this point, it seems pretty clear on Xerox's side where everyone's going. I mean, that's almost certainly Maokai top, Kane jungle, Anivia mid, Kaisa Morgana in the bot lane. DYS, I'd say, is pretty much 100% Karma in the support. York and top, Swain in the mid, but I mean, you can always
Anything
get
happen.
surprised by stuff like this.
Yeah,
It's a show
anything
match.
happen.
It's a show match. You never do know. But as they're going into pick ban in client, let's go lane by lane and talk this through here. You've got Yorick Maokai, first of all.
Now, the thing with Yorick is he is a lane bully, that is true, but he requires so much mana to keep up the pressure in order to keep someone like Maokai down. Maokai will constantly be healing up using his passive, that stat magic. And York's. I just don't think York has enough of a mana pool to keep up the damage in order to actually get Maokai to a critical point where he'll lose lane.
Yeah, I kind of feel like. But on the other side, like the other side of the coin is there isn't as much pressure when you're playing against Maokai to win lane.
That is true. You'll let the York scale up a little bit.
Maokai's going to be strong no matter what. So it seems like this might be a little bit of a golden opportunity on York to roam. And York can have a very, very strong roam in the right hands.
That's a good point. Maokai's damage is negligible to say the least, and York just put down his maiden and side lane, roam around. He puts down pressure in 2 lanes at once, something Maokai can't do without having to use the teleport.
So Olaf into Kane in the jungle here. Olaf, of course, will do as he's been doing and probably run Predator because that's just the dominant rune setup for him.
That is just how the Olaf do.
Yeah, you kind of have to. Both of them, I feel like, are very, very, very active junglers. They'll be very involved in lane pressure early on.
Sure.
I think Kane, if I'm not wrong, I think Kane is balanced a little bit more toward early game dominance, and Olaf will scale a little bit more.
Well, the thing is, we have seen Olaf play rates fall off in the recent patches as the Kane play rates has, been going up. And so it almost feels like it might be too much to say Yorick feels like a little bit of a has-been when he's still one of the strongest junglers in the game. Mm-hmm. But the amount of pressure he can put out at each phase doesn't feel as much as Kane. On the flip side, though, Olaf does have a lot more survivability and a lot more just, annoyance with his ultimates running at you with the Predator. Can get to you way faster than Kane can.
Yeah. Kane kind of is supposed to like sneak up on you. The fact that being able to use his kit to have so many more possible routes into lane means that your vision coverage has to be so much better in turn.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which means that just his mere presence in a game means that you have to play a little bit inefficiently to be safe.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to rely on those like Caitlyn traps and stuff.
Yeah.
For vision.
Let's talk Swain into Anivia.
Now Swain, this is interesting for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Anivia feels like like she should do well here because she just has so much more range in her poking. I mean, she doesn't really need to get in range of anything of his besides, I guess, Vision of Empire.
That is true.
I really
Hmm.
do feel like this was a very well picked counter.
Definitely. Now, if we look at it, once both champions hit 6, or when Anivia hits 6, the lane will be, on paper, it will be over. Anivia will never have to stand within range of anything of Swain's, except for, as you said, Vision of Empire. So Swain can never get his combo down. Swain can't. And Swain will probably have to stand inside Anivia's damage to farm the waves, considering how low his Q range is. It feels like
So
Swain is more of like a pick for the team rather than
yeah,
lane pick.
actually, as I'm looking at it again, as I'm looking at it here, just like with top lane, this is a place where Swain is probably going to want to roam and
Yeah,
exert
for sure.
pressure everywhere. Oh my god, is it possible? is this
Oh
is
no.
this is this the 5-man bot comp where it's built around getting really big pressure and
All right,
surprising them at bot lane
hear me out.
somewhere in the first 8 minutes?
Lane swapping. Karma mid, Swain bot. If Caitlyn catches someone on the trap, it's like,
Yeah, because
you Swain forward.
that's an immobilize. Swain's passive can proc there.
Yeah. However, speaking of which, I'm looking around Device's comp. Only Caitlyn can proc Swain's passive other than Swain himself. I don't think Yorick can proc his passive with his Dark Possession.
I don't believe so because
So
it's not technically CC. It's just a barrier.
yeah, I'll just move you around can Trundle Pillar force a pull? Because if Trundle Pillar can, then Yorick Pillar, for consistency's sake, should do it. But then
I'm
again,
I honestly don't know. Riot consistent? Come on.
yeah, can't put those two in the same sentence.
You really can't.
So in the sense of this, you can't really utilize the Swain passive as well as well as you want to. Swain's power, of course, stems from a lot of his power stems from his passive.
So
No, yeah.
so Swain can't. I'm seeing here in chat that Swain can pull off a pillar,
Hmm.
but
Well, then it will be consistent with Yorick. Oh, I mean with Trundle Pillar. If he can pull off
yeah,
Yorick's Dark Position.
you'd of course kind of similar to Vygar's Event Horizon. You'd have to hit right on the edge.
Hmm. True.
I don't know. It's a good.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Well, it's like even if you do pull them, they're still stuck inside Yorick's ring, so it's not like they're going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with 1 minute left on these, only 30 seconds left on the Spectre delay. We've gone through 3 out of the 4 lanes. Going over to bot lane. Caitlyn, Karma versus Kai'Sa Morgana.
I mean, it's two very pokey support.
Definitely.
Like Morgana is one of the easiest supports ever to complete the Sightstone quest on Spellthief's Head. I mean, like if you can't hit your root, just pop your W, pop your little pools. You have absurdly large range, absurdly large area of effect. You'll get your spell.
On the other hand, instead, rather than that sort of constant damage and that overbearing roots, Karma has huge damage on her, just on her poke, starting from level 1. Considering she's one of the few champions in the game that gets her ultimate at level 1, giving great amounts of poke.
Yeah.
No, I'm seeing that if the side of DYS gets that level 2 power spike, they can just pressure Kai'Sa to a unfavorable position.
Mm-hmm. Now that we're into loading screen, let's look at these runes here. Ooh, we've got Phase Rush on Swain here.
That is interesting, but it's not the least viable. You know, you can proc it very easily. Since your passive counts as a proc of Phase Rush, you just hit him up with that never move, proc your passive, use your Q on the immobilized person. Easy Phase Rush. No.
Yeah. Yeah, everything looks pretty much as expected. Maokai, of course, is running Aftershock. Got a lot of root and immobilize in his kit there, both from his ultimate and from his little dash.
Yeah. Almost all of his abilities give Aftershock procs. Oh, the only ability that doesn't is his Sapling.
Mm-hmm. Olaf, of course, is running Predator because, like you said, that's what Olaf do. Kane is running Electrocute to the surprise of absolutely no one. Both
That is how
Caitlyn
the
and
team-
Kaisa are running Fleet Footwork. Both Karma and Morgana are running Summon Air.
No, I have seen some Kaisas which didn't. Now, this sort of methods comes from solo carry Kaisas, not Kaisas where you have like a Kane, a Nivea that can carry for you. But I've seen Kaisas take press the attack sometimes when they have to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
In this
Yeah,
case,
that makes
she doesn't
sense.
have to because, you know, you got two other carries.
Of course.
So she can take that fleet footwork. There's a little segue there, a little tangent.
All right, and we do have starting items bought here. Definitely worth noting here that Kaisa has picked Doran's shield and Caitlyn's picked the Doran's blade, which certainly seems to imply that both teams are aware the Caitlyn Karma lane is the beatdown, and Kaisa Morgana is going to be playing a little more defensively.
Definitely.
Although it looks like Xerox is gearing up for an invade, possibly.
Xerox looking, you know, and there's that easy proc, you know, getting that spell
Yeah.
thief search farmed up already. Now,
Very
here's
interesting. Very interesting Morgana starting with W at level 1.
Yeah, that is interesting. You know, you can't catch anybody out. You can get the damage, but that's all you can get, really.
Yeah.
And some reply damage, but Percy's already down to half health.
Ooh, we've got a 3v3 in the top and a 2v2 in the bottom here. We got a couple the makings of a couple little skirmishes here, although it looks like top lane is bugging out.
Definitely. Now, I don't know if this is meta because I haven't really kept up with mid lane meta, so to speak, since it is, in my opinion, one of the most convoluted lanes to have a quote unquote metaphor. It changes so much and so often.
Yeah, for real.
But this minion dematerializer on both sides, is that something that we should be expecting?
I'll be honest, I'm really surprised to see it on Swain. Anivia doesn't surprise me at all. In short, these days, basically, Minion Dematerializer's main purpose is to improve your wave clear.
Yeah. Concerning the Banner of Command Cannon Minion, sort of, well, it's not really jank because it was really powerful. It was heavily nerfed to a point where it's not the most viable. Crown Me Kid is a little out of position, though. It takes a little bit of poke as he threw down that Mantra Q. Squam trying to get the passive off, couldn't get it.
Not the most favorable trade there. I have to wonder what he was thinking there. If he was maybe just trying to give some room for Caitlyn to catch the wave there, but it didn't really work as Caitlyn is still lagging a little bit behind here in that farm.
Yeah, definitely wasn't able to get it as the farm. I think I already made it under turrets. So lane not going the way that's DYS wants it to.
Ooh, very nice pickup there.
Very nice trades. Now I'm just gonna do a little comparison here. Crummy Kid, with his Spell Thief's Edge, gold earned 49. House of Apes, Spell Thief's Edge, 109. Just like that, already over twice as much gold versus the Karma, and that's just how the Morgana do.
Yeah.
Oh, and there we see Umbria's crazy. You know, this is Umbria's things. You know, he's got to be one of the best. It's very difficult to try to analyze Umbria, and it goes for the flash and QE combo. Wasn't able to get My Name is Zach. The last tick of health from the corrupting potion was enough.
Just a little bit overconfident on Umbria's part here, and that's really unfortunate for him because, like we were talking about, if you're laning against a Maokai, it doesn't really count as winning the lane against Maokai unless you've really shut him out. So going for a hard lane win against Maokai kind of feels like it's like shooting the moon. It's
Yeah, we
high
do
risk,
see-
high reward.
Definitely. Umbreon was almost calculated though, and that just shows his mastery playing on this champion against playing Maokai. Well, maybe not Maokai specifically, but that he was able to calculate within a split second. Wasn't able to factor in the Maokai corrupting potion, and if he had factored that in, he might not have gone for that play. Or he might have gotten the kill. But this is on a level that's a level of laning that most players are not. This is very intense coming in. I wasn't expecting the top lane to be the most exciting.
I mean,
lane.
who would? It's Yorick versus Maokai.
That's true.
So it did end up being up at top lane a 1-for-1 summoner spell trade, as Umbria did invest that flash going for that kill, forcing My Name is Zach out of lane, but he did TP back.
However, the most important part is somehow, and great props to My Name is Zach, that he kept the CSE in this. Umbria has a large wave about to crash up on him, so he will bring the CS lead back up in his favor just a tad bit, but keeping the CS this close is, props to My Name is Zach on that Maokai.
About as expected, there's already a sizable CS gap in mid lane. Anivia staying well ahead of OG Josh's Swain.
Definitely.
But on the other hand, Olaf is doing a lot more efficient work farming the jungle. He's even counter jungling a little bit over there, and he might be coming in for that top lane gank in a minute.
Olaf hasn't had the back yet, so My Name is Zach, about to get collapsed on. Umbria hasn't used the Dark Precision yet. That is the skill to watch. However, Maokai still had the flash, so
yeah.
I felt like even no matter how much they do, they can't take down the Maokai with his flash up.
Yeah.
So almost 6 minutes in, relatively quiet from both junglers. You don't see any of those early ganks that Kayn Olaf would be most famous for.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that was the first gank we've seen all game, and it was pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah. T- did show his face bot a couple times, but was phased off considering he was revealed on wards, couldn't get in range. T-Minus
very close, very even game so far. There's like maybe a 150, maybe 200 gold lead on the side of Xerox, but not much to write home about yet.
And there's the Nivea at 6, she has needed to tap into her mana pool a little bit more than she did earlier in lane, but has grown the CS advantage even further. As you see people looking to possibly get the early Ocean Dragon.
Kayn is lagging a bit behind here. He is going to hit level 5 a lot later than Olaf.
Yeah.
Which would seem to indicate that he's going to be probably quite a bit slower to hit 6.
And
Olaf,
he's definitely not far enough.
Although, I'll note that Olaf hasn't really been farming much in the last couple of minutes. I mean, his CS is kind of just stuck around 40.
That's true. Go for a little bit of poke and ball in. However, Percy did get head up by the binding, and that last tick of Ignite was enough to take him down. That is just a little bit of poor execution, getting hit by that binding and a subsequent Morgana pool.
Bad place to run forward. A little overconfident. He made a positioning mistake, and Squamp and House of Apes were very ready to jump on that. So excellent instincts from the side of Xerox.
It's that last little part that nobody notices. I don't know if it's still on Morgana. Does her W still reduce mana? I just say that Morgana goes in, Olaf on a gank for T-. T- force the flash out, gets rid up by the Never Move, and a kill goes over to OG Josh. Meanwhile, on top lane, Umbra goes in with that Maiden of the Mists. It's an Yorick versus Maokai. I was so excited coming off the back of that jungle gank and forgot that. Oh, look, it's top lane.
Right here, we're starting to see one thing in particular that Dyslexic does a lot better as a team. Their vision coverage has been far superior so far.
Maokai still has his flash, uses that nature's those roots still. Didn't flash out. Thought he can just walk away. But once Olaf gets that undertow down, you can't just walk away. You have to get out of that range. So just overconfidence, lack of respect coming in from the Maokai after surviving the first gank, that first attack on the top line. And as a result, first turret goes over to Umbria. And
That's what you have to do. That is how you win lane against Maokai.
yeah, and that is how Umbria does it, honestly.
I think the real defining factor, though, in these last couple of skirmishes that went decidedly in favor of DYS is vision advantage. They've played a much more robust vision game so far. They had kind of the top side of Xerox's jungle warded up, which was what allowed Drago Inc. and OG Josh to coordinate and kind of pincer attack T-Minus's Kane and bring him down. And that, in turn, left the opening at top lane play as aggressively as they did, get the kill onto My Name is Zach, and pick up that turret.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Vision, the investment in Vision is paying off very quickly.
Draconic going for his second back into, I believe he can finish his Cinder Hulk off this after getting that 1 kill, 1 assist, and he does finish his Cinder Hulk. So that'll be an even tankier Olaf still with his high base damage in the early game. So he'll be able to control the jungle even more at this point. Kane
And
has
now that he has his ultimate up, he is that in combination with the Cinder Hulk is going to make him that much more able to stay in the fight, stay on top of his opponents, and that much more valuable for him to do so.
Definitely. Considering the amount of CC you got on the side of 0x, you get hit up by the Nivea stun, by the Maokai, everything, and here he goes in bot lane. Has the ultimate pops it, so Morgana instead binds down Karma, so Karma. Fight seemed a little disjointed there. They did well and try and jump in, and then OG Josh gets Demonic Ascension and the flash to get out of range. However, the focus isn't on him anymore. The focus is on the bot lane of DYS, and the roots is on Caitlyn. Caitlyn will end up dying here or gets out just in time. Kane still flashes in, gets stats. Last auto attack, but will trade his life for a Crown Kid. Barely lives. Oh, that maximum range binding. It's a 2 for 1 so far for the side of 0x. They will take this trade happily. However, Umbria is just pushed out the top side, winning this lane against Maokai, keeping him in lane, can't even teleport down. This might be dangerous for 0x to stay here though, as all their health bars are quite low.
Yeah, it might be time to just bug out. Overstaying probably would be a mistake here. There's a couple of things I want to highlight though, and how that team fight went down. 0x found themselves in a really bad position at first, but a very quick decisive rotation down from Scandinavian Scum and T- allowed them to bring a lot of power to that fight very quickly. And then House of Apes kind of just sat there and baited Percy 1803 on Caitlyn forward, because they know Percy's positioning tends to be a little bit too aggressive, and they were able to catch him with some hard CC and jump on him, and that was the first part of what secured that 2v1, that 2 for 1 for them.
Yeah. The teams are posturing around the Rift Herald, although it's strange to be starting and considering the Olaf is down in bot side, just getting some vision out.
Yorick made a big mistake here. Umbria actually made a big mistake here. Didn't have the vision to back himself up here.
That root somehow actually hit Percy, and now the chains of Soul Shackles actually hit down, the stun hit down, and Squam finished it off with the Kathleen Rain. About to finish off a second kill too. There's a huge lack of respect coming out from the bot lane of DYS.
There's that first power spike coming in and out of Squamp's Kaisa. I mean, it is insane how much burst Kaisa can bring to a fight once she kind of hits this first power spike.
Definitely, you don't expect that much damage coming out, and since she does take a while to scale up, requires a lot of items. Or requires items to scale up, not very high base number going for.
I am a little bit surprised that Xerox, after they chased Umbria off of the Rift Herald, didn't take advantage of the opportunity with them having 3 there and solid vision coverage to just take it. Yeah. Especially with the buffs recently to Rift Herald. For those who aren't familiar, basically Rift Herald in patch 8.9 got a buff where it takes a lot less damage when ramming a turret, but is a lot more susceptible to critical hits to its eye.
Oh. Now so that really just narrows the way Rift Hero is used, you know? It just makes it so that it's that one turret killer, not very good for snowballing.
Oh, it
But
can be excellent. Basically, I disagree. I think it could be excellent for snowballing. Basically, it means that you have to pick the right moment. It's even more important than ever. Because if you can get a couple of picks and then throw it down on a lane where you've got pressure coverage somewhere else,
ooh,
you
that's a
could
lot of
push
damage on the
two,
Maokai.
three turrets off of it. But if you throw it down when there is already solid opposition in lane, it's not going to do anything at all.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see what you mean now. Meanwhile, Umbria has been playing this, but it's gone to this sort of low here where it feels like DYS are at a loss what to do. Their bot lane lost. Umbria has won, but Maokai has built enough items where the York can't really dive him anymore.
Yeah, I feel like what needs to be the goal for mid game here for Umbria is translating this lane win and this pressure advantage into advantages in the other lanes. He needs to be roaming more. We said from the very beginning that what York needs to do here is roam and
Yep.
spread out the lead.
Now he has finished that Trinity
He hasn't
Force.
been doing it.
I'm expecting to see a lot more roaming from this point on, considering he just back finishes Trinity Force, has massive power spike over almost every other champion in the game right now, including his own teammates. But
And we
then,
might see it. He did go straight back to top lane though, but we might see it because he does have TP up.
yeah, now three people are looking collapse on the OG Joust. That is good. Never brings the Morgana closer, misses the binding, pops that demonic essential to get some damage. Soul Shackles comes down. The ultimate comes down from T minus, and the Swain is taken down after much effort, but in the end,
Kind of a high risk, high reward gank there with big investments
ooh,
from
T-minus
both T
goes over
minus
the
and
wall,
Squamp.
gets hit up with, just gets poked down. Ooh, uses that trespass to try to get down.
I don't know about that trespass there.
The Ignites killed off the Kane. And thus, I believe the cooldown of Ace in the Hole is not refunded right now. Because I think the bullet was already in air when Kane died.
Yeah, Percy will be going for a full cooldown on his ultimate.
Weird thing. Now there's 3 men top try to take down Umbria's turret. However, this is a pretty fed Yorick. Pretty damaging Yorick, so when he pops that meta miss, it'll be like a 2v3 instead of a 1v3. Umbria feeling confident, pushes the wave out, walks from underneath his turret, and now with Swain and Karma coming up top, for support, I don't think they'll be able to finish off this turret. Meanwhile, on the bot side, first Dragon Ocean Drake goes over to DYS.
See, this I would say is a thing that Xerox is doing much better right now. They are rotating, they are grouping, and they are picking the right moments to do so. And the fact that they're moving around the map so much more means that they have the opportunity to clear vision. And they have been doing so, and in doing so, they have nullified one of the biggest advantages that
Umbria's pushed up a little bit more.
had.
That is a Soul Shackles onto Umbria. Tries to get the Swamp's flash out away. Here comes the Nature's Grab. And yeah, that is just the combination of Maokai and House of Apes is actually performing very well right now, getting Soul Shackles down, getting the bindings down in order to set his team up for kills, and they will pick up a Rift Hero off this.
Yeah, so far I am very, very impressed with the level of play that we're seeing out of both Squamp and House of Apes. It's not at all a surprise from Squamp, of course, who was captain and bot laner for Team Rhombus Head last season. But House of Apes is an unknown quantity, and this makes me very excited to see what Xerox is able to do as a team going forward.
Now, we sort of skimmed over that in the past little bit, but Dragonic on that all-out force to pop the ultimate and the flash to get away from once again, another 3 members of Zero X. I'm just gonna, is that supposed to be pronounced Xerox or Zero X?
I think Xerox. I'm not 100% sure. I believe it's a play on Xerox, like the
company,
photocopier.
yeah.
But I don't know. I could very well be wrong.
Well, it is up to the imagination of the viewer, I suppose. Now we'll just imagine where these teams are going for this. Kaisa looking to get a second item Gwinsus here. I haven't really seen that lately. I've seen Kaisa's go for Gwinsus much later when they have the attack speed to support the Gwinsus.
Mm-hmm.
I usually see them build just regular attack speed items, much more consistent. Plus the occasional crit helps.
Interesting to note, Percy going for Infinity Edge first. I don't know if given the circumstances
Percy,
that was the best option.
The bot lane of DYS they're just a magnet for roots right now. And here we just see the power of, the pick CC. There's so much CC on the side of 0x, and here we see Umbria on top lane, a 2v2 going on. And I say 2v2 because that may have missed damage. The Umbro Trespass used onto Umbria to try to kill him. And it does. And just the last little take, but D- goes down very low there.
Ooh.
Show cycles his pop. Ooh, the flash in, and squat. That dash tries to get the final ticks down, but forced to jump out himself. OG Josh almost taken down in his ultimate form, and now, honestly, is 0x just roll.
There it is. Right now. This right here is exactly the circumstance where Rift Herald can really just go ham.
Let's see this new Rift Herald do its thing, do her thing.
Because the lane opposition is already very much on the back foot, and you observe here directly how little damage by comparison before Rift Herald took from that.
That's gotta be 60% of the turret's health.
But they are gonna kind of leave it so they can go get another turret at bot lane.
Oh no.
So, do you have any theories as to why Olaf has built Remnant of the Aspect?
I have none.
I mean, the only thing I could imagine is, I guess, sporadic, faster wave clear? Because, I don't know, I just feel like...
I have no theory whatsoever right now. I
just feel like there is nothing on that item that you can't get more easily from something else.
He can't even finish the quest until 30 minutes.
Unless they're trying to like double down on vision, but
I understand doubling down on vision, but this just won't work. By the time you can even use the Eye of the Remnant for vision, it'll be too late. You might as well just buy some more control wards. That money.
Yikes.
That.
Well, hey, to each their own, I guess.
That's something, this is the show match, just feeling it out, trying his patented support Olaf.
I would not be surprised, though, if after watching this show match, people are liable to underestimate DYS in this main season.
I feel they'll be wrong to underestimate DYS because even though they are sort of faltering and losing this early game, and this mid game rather, their early game, if they had transitioned into mid game better, if they had transitioned Umbria and put more support in the bot lane, they could have won quite a few of these fights. As they lose another one here, Crummy Kid getting taken down by last low tick off Glacial Storm.
I just want to call out for a minute this incredible chain CC that we're seeing in every one of these team fights, from Scandinavian Scum on Anivia and House of Apes on Morgana. I feel like that is like the third team fight in a row that Karma has been unable to move or take action for like 10 seconds at a time.
It just, as soon as one of them hits their CC, the rest fall. With that Anivia Q into Morgana Q, or vice versa into...
Last team fight, I was going to say that it was a little bit greedy to use for Scandinavian Scum to use his flash like that, but it's working.
Flash binding from House of Apes misses a Nets, and that is a dash into a kill onto Dragonic, onto Olaf. That was another route onto... That's just another round per se, and just... It's a little... I don't even know what to say at this point. It's route after route. I can't... Actually able to T-minus now. This fight might be turned around. Umbria's here, and he has actually full health, not focused down, and he has quite the bit of items. Takes down the Squamp, and that's a triple kill for Umbria. Umbria gets taken down in the end by Crummy Kid, and OG Josh had a moment to recover the breath. And this fight actually got turned around. 3 for 3.
That was absolutely on track to be a full wipe. just a 3v3. 3 for 3.
And honestly, it just goes to show if you ignore Umbria, and now he has finished that last fight. He didn't finish his Sturk stage. Now he has finished. Does even more damage, like another 100% of his base attack damage more would be the numbers converted properly.
And I think that team fight was extremely important. I definitely think that if that had been a successful ace or a 4-for-1 even on the part of DYS, Xerox would have gotten Baron there. And I think off of that, it's reasonable to expect they probably would have been able to push in and break base.
Yeah, that definitely could have been possible.
Umbria clutched it there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
He is that ace in the hole for the side of DYS, and honestly, I feel good for DYS on this part. As they say that Squam gets the kill on the Olaf. The T-minus goes in. Zero X aren't stopping. They keep on going, even as the OG Josh pops his demonic ascension, gets walled off, and that is a demon flare for none. Every single time these fights break out, Zero X are left with blinking health bars almost every single person. Just
Here's one problem that I'm noting in just about every team fight for the last 5 minutes. Drago Inc. is overvaluing the unstoppable effect from his ultimate on Olaf. Because though he is correct in noticing that...
Ooh, Percy tries to go in for a kill on the Scandinavian scum, but forced flash on his own. Ooh!
Yikes.
Got one last... What was it called? Frostbites. Wow, he got popped into egg form.
That was very nearly very embarrassing for Scandinavian scum.
And the fact that Scandinavian scum was in that egg form, he was able to get that Baron buff as well. On the main hand, Umbria trades his life for a inhibitor turret. When you're behind like this for DYS, I would say that was
definitely worth it, because out of nowhere, some very strong split pushing from Umbria means that DYS actually broke base first.
Yeah, sure. But again, this is Umbria's style. You know, he is a strong soul laner. And he will be, if left unattended, he will destroy your whole team.
You know, maybe I was a little bit too quick to criticize Umbria for playing this like a solo match. Because it seems to be the only thing on the team that's working right now.
Yeah, for sure. Now, as we look down, 26 minutes in, Olaf still hasn't completed his remnant of the aspect. Still doesn't have access to those wards that he seems so desperate to get, because what else would it be other than desperation to buy an item like this on a jungler? Here's something to note though. The side of DYS uses all their minion dematerializers, but Maokai has his banner now, so... And here comes that bannered up cannon minion. The lack of minion dematerializers, they're probably really feeling it. T-minus takes a little bit of poke from the OG Josh, and we see that phase rush combo, as we mentioned earlier. And that cannon just going to work on the champions rather than the minions. Oh, Percy going down to a quarter health from minion alone. And this siege is going very well for the side of 0x. All their health bars are quite healthy, and there just seems to be a fundamental lack of good poke coming out from this side of DYS. On this wave, turret gets taken down to about half health. And Baron buff should last long enough for another 2 or 3 waves. So by the end, if they keep up the siege, the turret will fall.
It seems like Drago Inc. tried to pop his Predator to scare them off a little bit, but all it did is delay the inevitable.
Definitely. And he did pop his Predator in between the mini waves, so 0x, they would back off anyways. There's no reason for them to step up or take any fight in such a situation. Meanwhile, as we say that, T-minus has been split pushing a mid lane, took down the middle turret by himself. They bring Percy up to challenge him. I don't think that's the best move. Percy will die too if she stays, and I believe that's a Shadow King. Yep, that's a Shadow Assassin King. So, even worse. Shadow Assassin King goes in with that Shadow Step, tries to get with it. Root hits nobody. And on this third wave, the turret dies and so does Percy. Alright, this might be the final fight. Going as Squamp goes in onto Yorick. Yorick, known to be the carrier on the side of DYS. Try and go. He's taking down Claps of the team. Demon Flare onto many people. However, T-Minus managed to survive for a little bit longer. Olaf managed to take down T-Minus before he dies himself. Never popped. There's no egg in this time, and my name is Zach. Just has to slowly dies. The rest of his team dies. Triple kill for the OG Josh. Triple kill for Umbria. 5 for 1 ace for the side of DYS.
See, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Xerox is paying the piper for a couple of choices that they made early on. In going for that Shadow Cane, they definitely doubled down on this idea that they are not interested in pursuing traditional 5v5 team fights. They want to get DYS split off so they can get picks and then just pick them off one by one and get incremental advantages. But the thing is, they don't have much tankiness. Maokai is it. So if they do find themselves getting engaged on by multiple members of the enemy team, 3, 4, 5 of them, they're gonna lose fast.
Definitely.
And now, with as strong a split pusher as Umbria has built his Yorick to be, I would not be surprised to see them close this gap pretty significantly here.
We just saw the problems of tunneling and how Squamp played in that last fight. The previous fight before that one, we saw what happened. Umbria was able to, by himself solo, bring that fight back around to a 3-for-3 rather than a ace that would have resulted in Baron. And possibly even more. So as a result, Squamp tunneling hard on the fact that, okay, the rest of the team doesn't matter, we have to kill Umbria. Now, here's the thing, the rest of the team doesn't matter because in that last fight, the team died by the time Umbria was able to do his thing. So Squamp overlooked the fact, didn't pay respects, and just ended up dying. This fed 5 and 7, 5-2-7 Kaisa. Just died instantly at the beginning of the fight.
Zero X's saving grace there was definitely the fact that there weren't really many significant objectives on the map for DYS to take after winning that team fight. And now things can continue rolling just like before. I think the only path to victory that DYS has is to group very strongly, be ready to rotate quickly, and try to just meet them head on. Because there is very little tankiness to be spoken of on the side of Zero X.
Yeah, Zero X has to move hard and they have to move fast to take somebody down before Umbria can do his thing and OG Josh can do it. You know, the longer the Swain is up with the demonic extension, the worse it gets. And that's what happened. They just left that Swain up, didn't actually focus him, and then the Dark Possession onto Squamp. That is perfect. OG Josh just getting his damage on demonic extension. As we said, that Pro back into Squamp, back into House of Apes, takes down bot lane of Zero X. And now Zero X has to run for hills. OG Josh pops his Sonya's, but gets hit down. Perfect range from Scandinavian Scum. Now they
gorgeous pull onto Squamp from
back
OG
here.
Josh.
Gets one turn. Looks to get out, and will get out with that Shadow Step.
On the one hand, that was a very clean 2-for-1 team fight in favor of DYS, but on the other, it definitely looks like Zero X understands the flow of pressure in lane, and they are using it to their advantage. It's hard to say you won a team fight if you lost a Nexus turret in exchange.
And what can you do here? You know, when you're so far behind, when you win a team fight like that, all you can do is try to clean up. Even though you won the team fight, you're still the one that lost in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. Those 2 kills amounts to nothing since you can't get any objectives off this. It looks like Zero X will be a one to take the objective. DYS wants a challenge though. They have no wards on Baron, and the blue side jungle is heavily warded up by Zero X. Now Baron down to 2000 HP. Olaf is not in range for this, and Baron cleanly goes over to Zero X. Ooh, Squamp looks to get a kill, and this will be a kill on Olaf.
Just another illustration of what I was saying earlier. Drago Inc. is dramatically overestimating how safe he is, because while he is correct that Unstoppable will render him immune to the CC from the side of Zero X, it doesn't do much for you if Squamp is able to catch up with you because of Kai'Sa's ultimate.
Yeah. Kai'Sa's only CC is on her W, and it's not like you really need Olaf's ultimate to stop a slow from Kai'Sa's mistyles.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is that ever since mid-game, Zero X's job has been a lot easier than DYS's. And
this
I
might be a
have to
Final
say,
thing.
a big part of that is because of Percy 1803's questionable pathing and questionable positioning as Caitlyn.
Honestly, a lot of what Percy has done this game is pathing. All you mentioned, his 0 and it just falters inside in the face of Squamp's 6-3 scoreline. Ooh, and there's a flash coming from OG Josh trying to get the pick, but a great black shield coming in. Umbria flashes in to try to get the little minions on the Squamp, but might flash too far. It gets dark position down onto House of Age, going for a little bit more damage, and that's I dare say that Minion of the Mist is a more useful team member right now than Draconic is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now I think that I think that they did exactly what they needed to do. Maokai's ultimate there was exactly the disengage they needed, and that it becomes very clear looking at this why Xerox found it so important to pick up the Maokai, because when you're playing a comp like this that wants to pick off the opponents and avoid a 5v5 team fight, Maokai's ultimate is premium utility because it is free disengage. You get
Definitely.
to shut down an entire engagement from the enemy at any time.
And you saw how hard Umbria engaged in that low second time. He got his E down, his low minion jumped onto half Squamp. In that 1 second, those minions got Squamp down to half health. So the fact that Maokai was there was maybe the only reason that Squamp even lived with that engagement. The Squamp died, who knew what could have happened?
Mm-hmm.
I like saying Squamp.
Yeah, it's a fun name.
It's easier to say than Kaisa, honestly.
Yeah.
Now Umbria looks for a little fight on Zac, but one of them does damage and the other one doesn't take damage. Or does he? Maokai getting taken down to about half health, a third health. Gets hit up with that Dark Precision, might be forced to fight. But my name Zac looks to actually just take this fight. Thinks he can get out later if forced to, because the rest of his team is putting so much pressure down on the bot side.
Yeah,
and
at first
DYS
glance,
just he can't fight without Umbria.
At first glance, it feels like my name is Zac is kind of on a fool's errand trying to duel a Yorick that's been doing as well as Umbria has. But when you look at the effect that the rest of Zero X is having on the rest of DYS, I mean, that was the third inhibitor. At this point, it's going to be really hard to even withstand the pressure. Just to stay in the game is going to be a Herculean feat at this point.
Definitely. These aren't the best wave clear champions when it comes to Supermans, so to speak. And now an Elder Dragon is up. 2 dragons on the side of Zero, on the side of DYS. These aren't the best dragons to get the Elder Dragon buff on, but anything is good, and especially when you have a Kaiser scared of dragons at this point. This will be a 50-50 as Draconic's actually in range. Flashes and gets the reckless swing as the kill.
I think that was a mistake. I think Olaf being alive would have been a lot more beneficial to their survival in the game than getting Elder Dragon.
That's a great route down onto T-Minus, but he is... Oh, Josh is just too far up. Might die to... No, stays alive with the...
Ooh, bad overconfidence from Squamp. That was rough.
That definitely was.
Losing Squamp there might be the difference between pushing and winning here and not pushing and winning here.
That was just lucky, 50% crit, but that crit was needed to... Xerox is still pushing in. They think they have enough damage here it is, but T-Minus ends up dying. Well, die soon, but Xerox, they're just going to push for a win here. They're going to rely on the double waves of Super Minions. They're going to rely on the innate tankiness of this Maokai, and actually this Anivia has been sleeper this whole game. Hasn't made any big flashy plays, hasn't really done anything fancy, but is currently 8-1. And game will go over to the side of Xerox.
There it is. That was a fun one. Man.
That really was back and forth, honestly. Kept you on your toes. All the time I felt like it had a cute little sort of narrative to it, considering DYS's team comp, the Yorick felt like the underdogs,
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, the underdogs happened to lose, unfortunate for said narrative, but the fact that at any points, if Zero X let up the pressure, DYS could have taken them on. That was just every fight had to be played perfectly from the side of Zero X, and for most part, it was.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I think I have to give MVP for this match over to Scandinavian Scum on Anivia, with
Oh, yes.
honorable mention going to House of Apes as Morgana. Just between the two of them, the chain CC in every single team fight was amazing. And I think Percy 1803 has got some serious work to do on their positioning before the main season starts up.
Yeah, so like in that game with the combination between the Morgana and Nivea, it's like House of Apes served up DYS on a silver platter, served it up to Nivea, and Nivea just gobbled it right up. And the transitioning of Morgana's early game, just pressure on the team if she gets the pick, and to Scandinavian Scum's just huge early game damage, 8-1 and 10 in the end on that. Now, Squad may have been flashy, but it might have ended up costing his team quite a few fights. Scandinavian Scum, however, always positioned properly, never really got caught in a terrible position, and was just a great catalyst to this team.
Well, we've got another few really awesome matches coming up for you today. Next up, we have EOD, Pot of 25 Kawaii Tsunderes, versus TTA, Thick Thighs Academy. Man, I gotta say, the name game in Dominate this year is so strong. Notably, we have TTA, Thick Thighs Academy, which has 3 of the previous members of DLC, Doki Doki Literature Club, and EOD, which is kind of just a hodgepodge of ULP, TLG, and POG members. So stay tuned. This is going to be awesome. the chat.
Oh, the chat. Yeah, that's true. Don, shut the fuck up.
Holy shit, dude.
I just want to copy someone's name.
All right. We are back.
Oh man.
All right, guys. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to be
That's
jumping in with EOD versus TTA. We have the pro draft link. Just waiting for final readies, and we will get right into it. Lot of familiar names in this one. On the side of EOD, we've got Cute Soraka, Dawnbringer, and Focus, as well as Human E1. On the side of TTA, we of course have Ford Fusion and Jackie Chan. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Not to mention Vemodalen, who is subbing top lane on the side of EOD, is better known as Cole in our Discord server, one of the admins. So
Yep.
a lot of no, this is it's like stream meme team. Remember that in the Tyler one?
Oh my gosh.
It's like that. It feels like that right now.
In before admin corruption.
Yep. They'll just edit the results in the end.
Always. All right, and we do have, I believe, final ready checks. So we will be jumping in real quick here. Those cheeky bastards, of course, on Thick Thighs Academy have in the pro draft named themselves DLC V2. Gotta love that.
You
Thanks,
gotta
guys.
be honest, that is what they are.
It is. They're bringing back 3 of their members from last season. You've got Jackie Chan in the top lane, who was jungle previously. You've got Nikki Staggs in the mid lane, who was mid lane before. And you've got Ford Fusion, who was a bot laner last season and now is a support. So this is going to be fun.
No, this is no Ford Fusion actually.
What was that?
A Ford Fusion does play supports,
Yeah.
as his main role. He got placed into AC last season. So
Always a risky run.
I'm excited
honestly.
to see what he pulls out on this role.
And sorry guys, but we are in fact still going to be waiting a little bit longer. Waiting now on Dawnbringer. Thanks, Dawnbringer. So in the meantime, let's just take a minute to highlight some of the picks that we would expect to see from each. EOD, of course, has Dawnbringer, whose Vayne is the stuff of legend. So if Dawnbringer ever shows up, I'm sure he will be very ready and willing to play that Vayne.
I honestly don't know.
Focus specializes really, really heavily in a lot of the enchanter supports that are so strong in the meta right now. So there's a strong Nami, there's a strong Karma, there's a strong Janna, there's a strong Lulu. So it's gonna be, I have a feeling Focus is gonna be able to bring a lot of value to EOD right until that changes. Meanwhile, up in the jungle, Human Each One has a pretty strong Ezreal. And while Ezreal jungle might not be the most meta thing right now, it's still something to watch out for. After all, this is a show match. And, since you mentioned it earlier, let's take a look over at Ford Fusion. See some of those supports you were talking about. Wow, I have to look quite a ways down the list. Yikes. Well, there's a Well, there's an Alistar, yes. Oof. Definitely not as comfortable a champion pool, but I have full faith in Ford Fusion, and as a silver rated support main myself, I have exactly zero room to talk.
Nah, what do you mean? You have absolutely every room to talk. Because while Ford Fusion is the person playing, you're the one talking to the people.
Hey
No matter
man,
how good his play is, you can tear it apart bit by bit.
hey
Yeah.
man, if you're not a player, a coach, or an analyst, you better
Oh,
shut up.
you can't talk. You can't talk about Ford Fusion. He goes to the hottest bars. He's
Where's
jacked, dude.
where's the best clothes?
Where's the first? Yeah. I forget that copy pasta.
I don't know. I don't know the
this
copy
year.
pasta either. Definitely the new rain ad though.
I believe the copy pasta originated from a CS:GO player on Cloud9.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
What a wonderful and well-adjusted community that game has. Oh, and it looks like we are starting. And we saw the Alistar ban straight away from EOD.
Yeah, it knows Ford Fusion's
They're
quote-unquote
watching the
champion
stream.
pool.
They're watching the stream, guys.
And Kaisa ban coming out from side of just Doki Doki V2, honestly. That's what it's going to go with.
If we're being, yeah, that's what it is.
hovering on their next ban. Because there are actually quite a few unknowns on the side of TTA. We have K9 and Grumfree.
Yeah, Grumfree's completely new to Risen, to the best of my knowledge. Although looking at the op.gg, I am seeing that there are like twice as many games played on Tristana as on any other ADC. So it could be interesting to see whether EOD opts to ban it, to let it through and counter it, or to pick it themselves.
I feel like Tristana has it, and there's the Nami ban.
There it is.
I'd be surprised if they didn't do this, honestly.
Honestly, it kind of had to happen.
Early Caitlyn pick, just like last time. Someone who is safe, but we'll wonder if he'll pull a Percy.
Yep.
So to speak.
The interesting thing will be seeing what they pick back it up. Because we could see another Caitlyn Karma lane, but Janna Caitlyn is also very, very big and influential.
Definitely. And we see an Ezreal pick over on the side of TTA against Caitlyn. Now, just like Caitlyn, Ezreal can fit into quite a few team comps. However, towards the ultra late game, his damage output isn't nearly as consistent as Caitlyn's can be.
There's the Rakan.
There's Rakan, so we're seeing a little bit of engage here.
Yeah, I mean, with Ezreal as your ADC, although I guess it could be jungle Ezreal. Could always be jungle Ezreal. But if it is in bot lane Ezreal Rakan, that definitely kind of feels like a bot lane kill lane.
That was a Caitlyn Karma, like you've said before. Now I wonder if this will take the same path as the last game of Caitlyn Karma.
EOD's trolling. They're just gonna draft exactly the same team.
They will try their hardest.
We're gonna see Olaf right now.
Definitely. Oh, and there's the Trundle pick.
Ooh.
Then again, Trundle has been banned in the last game, so they're doing as close as they can.
Yep.
To the picks. And that was a great pick. Someone who recently came back into meta.
Well, now the question is, Ezreal and Graves are both ADCs that are known as capable junglers. Is
Graves
Ezreal in the ADC or is Graves in the ADC?
I believe in the Graves ADC. And there's a Lux ban against Cute Soraka. Also, I might, known to viewers, I might just call Cute Soraka Misto, as that it was his old name on League of Legends.
Some of my fondest memories of League of Legends were running a Graves Taric lane with my duo back in season 2.
Are we talking about old Graves?
Old Graves.
Now that was an old Graves old Taric with that point and click stun.
Yeah, it was kind of nutty.
That was some disgusting stuff, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, one part of me is very sad that they changed it, and one part of me realizes that It had to happen.
Yeah, it really did. And I felt like both champions went into a positive direction. Especially, I love the new Tarek rework. It's not even new anymore. It's been a couple of years.
Yeah,
And
I'm a fan. I
it's been
mean,
a while.
I really I miss the old Tarek Ultimate. I know, it was basically just a AoE buff. How
Yeah.
interesting could that really be?
AoE
But
buff,
I liked it.
some burst damage.
I really liked it. Ooh, Kennen.
Mm. So that is what they said they were gonna in the
No,
chat
it's
that
Fizz. They're trolling. It's
they're
Fizz.
messing with EOD's minds right now. However, I kind of like the Fizz. Jackie Chan might be one of the star players on the side of TTA,
Mm.
and we see that with the bands like Really Jax. You can do
Yeah.
stuff. Now, I wonder if this will be a Fizz top or a Fizz mid. Good flex. Though it is kind of a weak flex to top lane. But we have the Echo pickup, who is also a flex. However, it doesn't matter as they have to pick their last champion anyways.
In before Karma was the mid laner.
If we see an Echo and Fizz
Here's the
mid lane, that would just be that's interesting.
yeah.
I remember back in I think it was a couple of years ago, where it was Echo top and Fizz top rather than
Mhm.
mid champions. Those were evil times. Someone like
There's the
Echo.
cannon.
There's the cannon. Oh, okay, they're doing it.
See, it's one of those awkward drafts where I feel like I can't really comment too much on the comps because so much is still up in the air until the
Well,
very
right now
last champion is picked.
this puts the show into show match. You know, these aren't exactly the most competitive teams, although
Oh my
DOC
God.
V2 rounds it out with the Galio pick. So
Shoot me now. I still have no idea what the comp is.
they have a champion in the top lane and a champion. I can say that with confidence. They will
Okay.
play 5 champions on each team,
Well,
and this is
maybe
the League of
if
Legends that we are
Dawnbringer gets
playing.
back. I guess if Dawnbringer gets back in time.
Yeah, I almost want to ask each team where they're going to play. You know, the Echo and the Galio, but I feel like that would just give the game away to the other side. I just want to know something.
Well, we're going to
'Cause-
champ select in client, so we're going to see pretty soon. And
Yeah, since they
to
do
our
have a
viewers,
pick
I
list as well.
promise we will let you know as soon as we have an idea of
Yeah.
what's going on.
Since we do pick the top lanes instant,
Mm-hmm.
the other one will go mid lane unless we see I don't know Echoes or something. God forbid that happens.
God forbid.
Now the teams are just banning away some easy A bans. Now to fill the air, since we can't talk about
Well, I mean, we can talk about what's most likely because I
okay
mean,
bot
we know
lane.
for sure. We know for sure Trundle is the jungle. I mean,
Yes,
very, very, very impactful.
Echo jungle and Toronto top. That could happen.
Ah, crap. I guess you're right.
Damn,
Either
okay.
way,
Can we talk
either
about bot
way.
lane? No, we can't. It could be Rakan. I have seen it done by some streamers. Of course, they're streamers, they're entertainers. It's not exactly the meta, but I've seen Rakan
Rakan
mid.
mid. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess I've seen it too. Now that I'm thinking about it.
You know
Nope.
what?
It
Okay.
will be Trundle jungle.
Kalen and Ezreal are the AD carries. Oh wait, I can't even say Ezreal is the AD carry because they have Graves. Kalen
No,
is
it
an AD
is.
carry.
It is. It is. They have so
okay.
far picked out their.
They have it to champions.
They have. So Galio is top. Kennen is top. Trundle and Graves are jungler. Echo and Fizz are mid. And I'm guessing Caitlyn Karma bot because that's what's left, and Ezreal Rakan bot because
There's
that's
not really that much to choose from.
yeah. So Kennen versus Galio. I mean, Galio is one of those top laners that kind of just has to roam. So much of their kit, so much of Galio's kit is built around supporting and protecting your team.
And Galio in top lane's different in this case because he's playing against a magic damage dealer. You know, his shield will actually, especially, can still poke based. It's not something you see very often.
Although AD based Kennen
That
still
could
not
happen. You're right.
unviable.
Are we gonna see the on-hit cannon coming out?
Oh my god.
God, I hope not. On-hit
Get good
cannon
old-
can be consistent, but it's so boring compared to when you just run and slicing Maelstrom.
Oh man. Well, we're gonna see real soon. Oof.
Now the problem with Galio top is that one of the strengths of Galio is that when he's playing the mid lane, he can roam to top and to bot with his ultimate. When you're top lane, you can roam to mid. That's it. You have the teleport bot. You can't just walk down there because you're gonna have to walk through a lane and a half anyways.
Mhm.
Now on the other hand, Fizz and Echo, they're both roamers too. There's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of 100%.
Yeah. I mean, Fizz and Echo are going to be roaming a lot. Echo in particular, because Cute Soraka has chosen to take teleport, which just does so much to enable roaming and quick rotations. I mean, it's hard to really comment effectively on bot lane because it's not going to, you don't have to just look at the 2v2. You have to look at the 3v3, the 4v4, the 5v5, because all of them could at some point end up down at bottom. I think the things that we can say for sure is that it certainly seems like Ezreal and Rakan is geared toward winning early engagement and skirmishes at bot lane. They're going to be harassing. They're going to be poking like crazy. They're going to be trying to overwhelm Caitlyn and Karma.
Definitely. We saw. Well, it's more crucial for the Ezreal to get ahead than the Caitlyn. Now, we already know how bad Caitlyn is in the mid game in comparison to the other AD carries in either this meta or any meta. Caitlyn's mid game is notoriously famous for how bad it is compared to her early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
However, Ezreal really needs to get ahead too. To the fact that he really needs a scaling, he doesn't really buy combat items at the same rate that any other AD. And
in
yeah.
light of that, I would expect DLC V2, I guess TTA, to be throwing a lot of their other teammates down there early and often. I'd expect Graves to be ganking down there first, and most often I'd expect Fizz to roam down quickly. I'd expect Galio to be heading down there pretty quickly and using whether it's using his teleport to get in or using his teleport to get back to lane quickly.
Definitely. Now, I feel like for majority of this game, unless EOD gets ahead, it will be on all the fights will be on TTA's dime. That because their engage is so much more explosive than EOD's can. They have the cannon, yes, but on the other side you have the Galio, you have the Fizz, you have the Rakan, you have a lot more engage than EOD can really just put out.
Yeah,
EOD on the other hand has a lot of disengage.
EOD's got disengage. EOD, I think this is actually looking very, very similar to the kind of comp that we saw in our last match, where EOD is going to be running a split push comp using Trundle as the tower pusher, and DLC wants to fight together as often as possible.
I wonder if we can make I'm just gonna go off on a tangent here because I can't stay serious with a game like this.
By all means.
We have DLC, which is the majority of this team's members last season's team, Doki Doki League Club,
Mhm.
and this season they're called Thick Thighs Academy. Now,
Yep.
can we make an sort of amalgam of these two names, like Doki Doki Academy or like Thick Thighs League Club?
Thick Thighs League Club. I like Thick Thighs League Club. Let's do
Alright.
that.
We'll call them that every single chance
Yep.
single chance we get, we'll call them. And on the other hand, EOD. Now, for our viewers who don't know, this
EOD's a mix of a bunch of different teams.
For those who don't know, even though their team name is actually, if I can just pull it up here, it's not loading. Even though their team name is Pod of 25 Kawaii Sundaries, the EOD abbreviation comes from previous seasons. Now, since one of their members is one of the admins, Cole, he has played and dominates in previous seasons, and every season his team has had the abbreviation EOD in some manner or another. Last season, it was this freakishly long chemical thing. I don't know what it was. And I think season before that, it was just, I think it was a regular name, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this season with the team names they're putting together, I think 3 different teams from last season's names.
Well, you've got Pot of Greed.
Yeah.
You've got Kawaii Tsundere.
Yeah, KT from last season. And the 25, I don't see where that's from.
Hold on.
Hmm.
Let me take a look. I'm gonna figure this out because I care.
Yeah, try to find
I
last
care,
season's.
viewers. I care.
Now here's some interesting runes. Now we have some pretty standard ones. Double electrocute from both AD carry, from both mid laners. Fleet Footwork from Caitlyn, Kleptomancer from Ezreal, Guardian from Rakan, and Airy from Karma. Going up in the top lane, we have the Spellbook for Kennen, which is pretty standard, and an Aftershock for Galio. Now this is where it gets weird. Trundle has the press the attack.
Ooh, oh no, dude. That's absolutely going to be a in my opinion, that's absolutely going to be the split.
No, yeah, definitely. Actually, that makes sense, yeah. You take away
Unsealed
their damage.
Spellbook. Unsealed Spellbook is standard, but of course 8-9 brought a completely reworked Spellbook. Where Riot said that they were kind of tired of Unsealed Spellbook being seen as the Flashmore keystone. So now they've reworked it to actually benefit you if you use a wide variety.
Oh, yes, I do remember that change. It was kind of controversial.
Yeah. I like it personally. I think it's a lot more interesting because at the end of the day, having a shorter cooldown on Flash is really good, but not all that interesting,
Yeah,
either to play or to watch.
Something that's good, but it's not exactly how you want.
Yeah.
Like early on in the Season 8 meta, spring splits of every league in the world, you had spellbook at least one spellbook. First it was the top laners, then it was the mid laners, then it was the supports. At some point I think it was everybody. It was just everywhere due to how powerful
it was the summoner spell version of Stopwatch. Everyone had it.
Speaking of stopwatch, we have one stopwatch in this game, and that is on the Kennen. Since he did go for the inspiration tree, he has to take from that tree, and he decided to go with the stopwatch. Probably the best choice considering he is Kennen.
Which certainly seems to indicate to me not on hit Kennen.
Yeah, personally, I'm happy about that. I don't want to see on hit Kennen. It's might be good, but it's just not fun to watch, not fun to cast. You know.
Mm.
So as we go on, both junglers start the red side. Pretty standard starts. Leashes from both sides. Graves, of course, doesn't need as heavy a leash.
That tells me Graves is planning a level 3 gank bot lane as soon as he picks up his blue buff.
Yeah, I don't expect that because no matter how powerful Karma is in the early game, you get a good grand entrance down, you can shut down the whole bot lane just like that.
Already, we're starting to see those nasty, quick, tough engage mid lane fights because both Fizz and Echo are assassin burst mages, and both of them took electric.
Now here's the thing. While Echo is famous, as we see, for fusion goes in for a little bit poke. While Echo is notoriously famous for his burst damage coming out from his Z-Drive Resonant, many people underestimate Fizz's damage because not often he gets the part of his Q down. And we have a gank on Jackie Chan, force the flash out as human non-range, takes a turret shot for his troubles. In the end, flash for... Yeah, they just got his flash down. Very good gank coming out.
Good strong early start, and it will, for the next 5 minutes or so, limit his ability to roam.
Definitely.
Because flash is the kind of thing you kind of want to have up if you're going to be getting into team fights outside your own.
Yeah, and at this point where you're going to be getting your ult as well, since he's still level 2 down to Vemodalen's level 3.
We are seeing K9 kind of shrewdly seeing that Trundle has gone out of his own way.
I like this. There's no ward in Tribush. They can get the catch down onto lane, but the ball lane of TTA are poked down. K9 has going in his own, forcing the flash out Dawnbringer. Dawnbringer going out, forced to pop his heal as well. Now here comes teleports both from the top lane and the mid lane going in. Teleport coming in from Jackie Chan as well on the Galio, but he's a little slow. Straka going, hits down, stun onto 2, and that's first blood going on to the cannon. Galio comes in, but second too late.
Very unfortunate for Thick Thighs League Club that Grumfree got picked out there. If it hadn't been for that, it would have been a 3-for-1 summoner spell exchange, as that would have been a flash from Focus, a teleport from Cute Soraka, and a teleport from Vemodalin, aka Cole, in exchange for a single teleport. That would have been a really big setup skirmish if it weren't for that.
Nicky Staggers. Nick Stags going for a little bit of poke, but seemed to have forgotten the fact that his W does DOT damage, which results in turret focusing him back. Now, back on the Fizz point that I was making earlier, people actually really underestimate Fizz damage in lane because Fizz rarely gets the second part of his W down, the part where that actually rarely triggers, and that's the second proc of Seasonal Trident. If he gets it to proc, it has huge scaling. It does that bonus damage.
Mm-hmm.
And just in the early game, it's damage that you really don't expect to come out. In addition to Fizz is already pretty high damage, single target damage.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see, already Fizz has doubled the CS up. Partially due to the fact that Echo Roam bot got the kill. And partially due to the fact that the Echo just has to stay safe, doesn't have as much damage at this point in the game. Now they are walking out. Trundle's in the bush, and Ford Fusion goes in for a little bit, but has to walk out. Tries to dash back, but Gumfrey is already out of range of the dash. Oh, finally managed to get the dash in, but dashes right on a trap. The ultimate
really unfortunate for Ford Fusion there. Picked just the wrong moment to engage when Human Each One was there. But credit where credit is due. EOD did a really good job of setting up for that potential gank, dropping that aggressive control ward in the river brush.
Yeah, and waiting quite patiently for Fusion to go in instead of going in with a pillar. Waiting for Ford to blow his movement ability, that red entrance. Now, in the end, it was technically a 1-for-1 because Soraka did get ganked in the mid lane. As we see that the Maelstrom comes out from Vemodalin, tries to get some damage back down to Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan goes in for some damage of his own, but that was just a ultimate blown for damage, and Jackie Chan's still about even in this lane. Alright, I was talking about the mid lane. Anyways, as the Fizz went in, the Fizz did miss his ultimate, but in the end the damage came down. Fizz was level 6 versus the Echo's level 5. Echo did not have that Chrono Break, the all-important spell to save him from anything. And here we see the Fizz going again. The Echo still does not have level 6. The huge damage comes. Now that's crucial. Parallel Convergence saves Echo's life with that shield and stun.
This is some good setup. It's good starting poke because Fizz is about to have his ultimate up again.
Yeah, however, that Echo has reached level 6, has that Convergence, and has that Chrono Break. I think it'll be difficult for the Fizz to try to get a kill again. Oh, here comes a gank on top lane. Now that is an Echo cannon with no ults, no flash, and that's just a finished up collateral damage. Clots onto Vemodalin.
Very, very beneficial for DLC, as that was a top lane that was hurting. Galio is kind of consistently been 15 to 20 CS behind Kennen the entire game so far, and this helps even things out up there, which is good, because if they can even that out and address the discrepancy that's starting up at bot lane with Dawnbringer and Focus being able to out CS Grumfree and Ford Fusion pretty handily, they'll be in good shape, because Nicky Stags has almost twice as much CS.
This is just a ridiculous CS lead. Twice as much CS when you 35 CS is just one side you're keeping up with 30 CS, not 30 CS. Imagine 30 CS. Where am I getting these numbers from? 10 CS a minute, as I was saying. On the other side, you're down almost 40 CS now. You're down an entire item, an entire mini item. I can't say entire item because even though Hextech Revolver is not an entire item, at this in the game where numbers are so low, it might as well be. Q-Tracker goes in for a little bit of damage, but Nicky Stags has that Ruby Crystal a little bit tankier than the Echo expected. Now we're seeing the setup into mid lane. Ford Fusion roams up mid. And this is a little risky for his bot lane, as the Ezreal's already behind in kills and CS. Not to mention the fact that he can't build damage items the way that Caitlyn can in this game. QH ganks up top, comes down the middle, slicing Maelstrom, and a flash out from Jackie Chan. Same as gets him to safety without much damage taken.
Handy little flash pull. But in exchange, Graves is right there to pick up the Infernal Drake,
Yeah,
which
that was
is
a
right
great
in line
rotation.
with their plan. Because, like we've been saying, they want team fights, and Infernal Drake is just going to compound their ability to win them.
Yeah. Very simple, but very, very effective. You know, as soon as you see that Tron on top, make the call, go for the dragon. You can't challenge it without a smite. And even
And
if you can,
this is about to get a lot easier for DLC's bottom lane, as Ford Fusion has completed the Sightstone quest.
and now notice that Echo has used his teleport to get back to lane. There's no teleport from the Echo. However, there's teleport Kennen. If you do choose to come in, decide not to come in, focus is on to focus. And Dawnbringer might end up going down as well. Ignite going down, and the cloud damage finishes off Caitlyn. However, the Ken goes back up onto Jackie Chan. Gets knocked up. Doesn't have the flash this time, but there's not much damage coming out from H and Dalen.
Right there. That's one of the big 4-man bot lane pushes that I was expecting. It really looks to me like DLC's team is built around going for big advantages bot lane, and they have secured one just now.
Teleport from Jackie Chan to come back in the lane. Now, the Kennen is down, a teleport, decided to try to go bot, but got cancelled. Now Zlo has to back off, will miss some CS, and that CS back up. Take that 30 CS lead, 20 CS lead, down to 10, down to maybe 5, down to maybe even. Who knows?
Now that they've got some solid pressure going, although Fizz could be in trouble.
This is a slippery Fizz.
Well, that's what Flash is for.
Definitely.
Now that they've got some solid pressure, they can leave bot lane alone a little bit. I feel like the play here would probably be to pick up that Rift Herald.
I would say Rift Herald would be the good move here. As you said, the Rift right now, and there's a focus on to Human H. Human H forced the flash out from the damage, and the fish just misses.
If they can get a pick down either mid lane or top lane, they'll be in great shape to take that Rift Herald, especially since if you observe the top half of EOD's jungle, DLC has a lot of vision set up there.
We're looking for gank onto Kennen right now. Kennen doesn't have has the Galio ult come in, try to keep K9 alive. That's 4 man on Kennen. Kennen's just straight up gone from this game. Now they can collapse onto the turrets, and they will shoot that. Most likely will rotate that into Rift Herald.
Beautiful ulti from Jackie Chan there.
Although I wouldn't recommend them to go for the. It's possible, but they will be fighting if Fizz has to walk all the way back from lane. And right now it's just in an awkward position where if you don't play it right, considering that Galio uses ult, Fizz's ult is down, and a lot of summoners are down on the side of TTA as well.
Yeah. Well, it looks like they're gonna go for it anyway. So
go for it. Now Fizz is coming in from mid lane. This 4v4. Fizz goes onto Human H, gets this Q down, gets the damage down to Human H, and that's gonna be a dead Trundle. Ford Fusion goes in for another gank. That's Kennen without it. Tries to get out. Managed to get out with the flash, and that will be Rifto going over the side of Thick Thighs Academy. Thick Thighs League Club? Who knows what the name is now.
Well, Nikki Staggs was able to get back from base fast enough to really have a strong impact on that team fight, and Human Each One just was not able to get away from that. I mean, just didn't have the peel available to get Fizz off of him.
Yeah, for sure. And now TTA has a commanding lead of this game. That is a 5k goal lead pre-15 minutes. A lot of first items are being done on the side of TTA, while on the side of EOD, they're just scrambling for items, little bits and pieces here.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to finish boots or first time, you have to make that tough choice. On the other side, you got the You got the bourgeois Fizz being able to buy whatever he wants.
Important to note also, right at this moment, the discrepancy in summoner spells available. You got three very soon to be 4 flashes available on the side of DLC. EOD doesn't have any. The only summoner spells available are TP on Kennen, Smite on Trundle, and Ignite on Focus. This would be the time to engage big.
Definitely. You just have to think in your mind how many times the summoner spells have been used offensively versus defensively. Almost every single time you look at EOD flashes, it had to be defensively, to get away from the damage coming out. On the other side, TTA, I can only think of Galio being forced to use his flash over and over again as his gets ganked. They've been able to be more proactive in all these games.
Oh yeah. It does look like they're setting up for that dragon, and it is going to be another Infernal Drake.
Which that'll just help the snowball even more. Rift Herald is still available, about halfway mark on its timer. So they still have another.
I want to give a little bit of special focus right now to the Vision game that's being played. They are playing a comprehensive Vision game. I mean DLC specifically here.
Definitely.
I'm wrong, by the way. It's not Infernal. It's another Oceanic. I especially want to look at Fizz. Fizz, who as a mid laner has the best Vision score in the game at 15 minutes. That is not normal.
You don't see that on a Fizz. You don't see it on mid. There's a lot of roaming coming out from this Fizz, and roaming that is effective too, placing on correct wards in the correct places. Going up to 29 now. There's a Rift Herald being channeled. However, this is the place where you said Rift Herald falters, where you don't channel it.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if this lives long enough to ram a second turret.
Definitely.
Unless they can get a pick really soon here. But then again, the commanding lead might be enough. Yeah, they were able to keep the rest of the team pushed off, but you see how fast Rift Herald goes down after that.
Definitely. There's a lot of respect being given over to TTA right now. Not even willing to go up to get that Rift Herald, take that Rift Herald down.
Yeah.
It seems like the one saving grace that EOD might have would be in their bot lane. The Caitlyn has stay up in fact over 30 farm ahead, and as I say that, the bot lane Vemodalen gets caught up, tries to use that Slinging Maelstrom to no avail. Human Leech uses that ultimate, tries to stay alive. Manages to do so. I had to blow quite a bit in response. Now EOD, or no, not EOD, TTA are running away. Happy to take that one kill. Quick little side note, the next dragon will be another ocean drake. So no more crazy, scary, important drakes anymore. However, the more sustain you manage to get, the better it will be, because there's one thing this team doesn't have on the side of
Well, so far I'm very, very impressed with the squad that DLC is running this year. The new blood definitely seems to be having an excellent impact so far, as K9 is a very impactful jungler, and Grumfree on Ezreal is doing work. It'll be interesting to see how much diversity they can bring to the table, though. It's one thing to be able to run a lane where you're aggressive early. It'll be another to see if they can actually pull off like late game scaling comps.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, and there's a pause coming in. I'll be interested to see the reason for said pause.
It looks like K9 is lagging.
All right.
So it shouldn't be too long now.
Bear with us as K9 sorts out his internet and with provider.
Well, it's a nice moment at 18 minutes in to talk about paths to victory for the team. DLC seems like they have a really clear one. They basically just need to keep getting these incremental advantages. They've been able to handily pick up every single neutral objective on the map. They're ahead 4 turrets to 0. they need to keep grouping and winning these team fights. Keep keep being able to pick the right fights. Now, on the other hand, you have EOD. They just need to get picks, basically. They've got a lot of strong assassination potential from Kennen and Echo. They need to get the picks, and they need to take advantage of the times that they have a numbers advantage to let Trundle split push a little bit.
Yeah.
But before even that can happen, I guess they need to let Trundle farm, because it's going to be hard for him to effectively push turrets with as little gold as he's sitting.
And I love the fact that you bring up the numbers advantage, because that is the reason why they won their only fights. The numbers advantage. That early game gank in the bot lane, where we saw both teleport from Kennen and from Echo, they managed to turn the 3v2 into a 3v4. They turn around the numbers, they turn around the fights, which resulted in 2-for-1 for them. However, since then, DOC has been the proactive one, and the numbers have always been on their side. The EOD has never been able to teleport properly. Use the teleports to, when you have the double teleport, you gotta use it to your advantage. They just haven't been able to do that. So they have to make the plays. They can't be playing to the tune of EOD, to the tune of DOC.
The problem is that it's great to have 2 teleports available and all, but you still have to get all 3 of the other members of your team in the same place.
For sure. Now, and during that whole time, K9, instead of waiting for his internet provider to do the right thing, he decides to be proactive like he has been. Goes and resets his League of Legends, reconnected. Now we'll have to see if it is to any avail. Just TikTok. Like that Kesha song.
Shouldn't be too long now.
And he's looking at the items, and like you said, Trono really needs to farm up. The items are just more or less pitiful coming from the side of EOD. Kalen sitting on 2 halves of 2 items, while Ezreal just sitting on 2 items. Echo completed his pro belt. Meanwhile, Fizz has a pro belt plus another. On the other side, you have complete jungle items. Trundle sitting only on Tiamat, while Graves. I don't think Graves is backed in a while. I think he can probably complete his Black Cleaver at this point. And top lane, might be the only place where it's actually even. Galio 2 assists, which is more or less equal to Kennen's 1 kill, and Kennen's up in CS. So that would be like the only lane where the gold is more or less equal.
Yep. And that is even just mostly because Galio has had to spend so much time roaming in order to make the team strategy work. But honestly, at the end of the day, I can't say that that's a bad choice, because Vemodalen hasn't really been able to capitalize on.
Yeah, it's a little bit like the Maokai of last game. Not as much, not to the same degree as Maokai can do it, but Galio doesn't need nearly as many items. As long as you go in, you get that big taunt, you get the big ultimates, you've done your job. Kennen has to be effective at all stages of the fights in order to provide the same amount of pressure that Galio can.
It's just the kind of utility champion that has a higher floor and a lower ceiling than most. You don't care about the scaling as much as the average champion.
All right. It seems like K9, well, he's just going to do a full reset, restart his router. Hopefully that will fix. Do we continue on this pause?
Now, I don't believe I've heard, for the purposes of the show match, is the usual rule about competitive pauses still in effect, a maximum of 10 minutes?
I don't believe they are. However, on one hand, I don't see why they wouldn't be. These rules are meant for the convenience of both teams. If one side meant to take like a half an hour pause, who knows if they're not discussing stuff or like doing anything else. On the other hand, this is a show match. Neither team will gain anything out of this other than love and adoration from fans. So
such as they are.
such as they are. We can be a little bit more lenient. At least.
Yeah, no one really wants to see a show match this.
That's true. We do have at least 2 more matches out of this. The longer the pause goes on, the longer we'll be here.
Yep.
Stuck with us.
Well, not stuck with us exactly.
Oof. Yeah. In here with us.
As this game is the last one of... This game is the last one of Block 1, which means...
I think after this is semifinals.
After this, I will be jumping off.
Oh, yes. So will I.
But there will be a just as capable casting and streaming team ready to take up the slack. And it looks like we are good, and we're going to keep going with our game. Thank God.
Both teams give the ready up, and we will soon be out of the pause. We will soon be out of the pause.
Any minute now.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go.
All right, 2, 1, and we are back into game. As TTA take the quick little blast coming over the wall to surprise EOD. As they will siege up the bot lane. Now, that is the same. Ooh, that is a lot.
Grumphrey.
The siege is the best, and Grumphrey just gets taken down with that first combo from Kutsaraka that actually work out. Teleport coming in from Dalen, but it's a little bit far back. He has to really run to make it work. Focus on Nikki Stags, and he gets a great little jump over the wall, great little dash. Perfectly played, but the haste and hold keeps him alive at 1 HP.
Oh, there it is.
Subjugate was required to take him down in the end. Dalen goes and gets a 3-man stun with how sadly enough, Kutsaraka goes in and gets some more damage, but doesn't have the ult and doesn't have mana. Follow up K9 getting focused down, K9 getting taken down. 2-man taunt from Jackie Chan, but only to keep the rest of his team alive. And that is a great turnaround from the side of EOD.
4 for nothing.
Definitely. I wasn't expecting that to happen. But it just seemed like TTA were overstepping their bounds.
It all started with Grumphrey getting a little too confident, taking a turret shot, and now they lost their mid turret. That is the first turret that EOD has been able to take, and it's exactly little wins like that they need to make happen. They saw a numbers advantage as Graves was busy back at base buying, and they took advantage of it.
Yep, they saw the opportunity. And, props to them for taking that. However, they still have a little bit to climb. Gold is still in the favor of TTA by 4,000 gold, 33k to 29k.
Mm-hmm.
And items are still being completed on the side of EOD. Still down in items, sort of.
Still, a game that was cleanly in favor of DLC is now going to be a little bit of a fight.
Definitely. Now it can swing both ways. And I'm excited to see how this... The further this goes on, the more it benefits the Caitlyn, the more the Echo can catch up and be even more annoying to Fizz.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, cannon scaling, you can never count that out. I think I mentioned cannon twice.
And the more Trundle, the more time Trundle has to build up some items, the more deadly he's going to be as a split pusher.
Definitely. Trundle with items, just something... Now, as the game has hit another sort of a low here, compared to the explosive early game where TTA were just running around map left and right, taking whatever they can. TTA has recognized that, they can be toppled, so they can't just run wherever they want. Play a little bit safer now, and setting up for the dragon. Coming up just now, the Ocean Drake, number 2.
Oh man, it looks like Trundle's moving towards that Baron. Meanwhile, DLC is grouping up for a possible move on the Ocean Drake.
Yep, Trundle, he can't do very much at this point. Caitlyn doesn't have the Infinity Edge, can't do enough damage. And that's Neko is not a consistent damage dealer from the mid. So it seems like EOD just giving this up. Diving on challenge. And they dance. Next dragon, the fourth dragon will be a Cloud Drake, and well, depending on how fast they take it, it might be a last dragon, might not. That the fish lands under focus. Focus is taken down almost instantly. Nick Stags goes into golden form live from fight and goes down anyways as Human H takes him down with us, and Switchgate keeps him alive. Now it seems like EOD have to run for hills before Fusion goes a little bit too far. Takes a taunt from Jackie Chan, takes down Q Soraka, and now EOD definitely have to run for hills as their mid laner and their support is dead. Can't keep going on without them. TTA. TTA started up the Baron, however, this is a little risky. Now, their health bars aren't the highest, and they can't take Baron all that fast. And EOD, they're smelling this. They want to try something, but that one Q on the Human each seemed to be nail in coffin. Ooh, Gumfrey taken very low. He doesn't. You'd think that he has more resistance considering he has an ice ball.
Oh no!
And they have to. He walked over a trap, right?
If it seems to the viewers like the Baron took an oddly long time to go down, that would be because 8.9 did bring a sizable buff to the amount of HP that the Baron has. Riot did not like how quickly it was possible to sneak a Baron kill.
We look at it 23 minutes in, almost 24 minutes in. Thing already has 13k HP. A few patches ago, 13k HP will be stuff of 40 minutes.
Yep. Now, it is interesting to note that the context for the big team fight that EOD lost just there was Ocean Drake got taken out by DLC, and EOD's plan, or at least Human Each's plan, seemed to be to go take Baron while they were taking Ocean Drake. There are two problems with this plan. The first one is that his team didn't follow him. And the second one is that even if they had, Baron HP is so much bigger than it used to be now that you can't take it that fast. And as soon as Ocean Drake goes down, DLC has good enough vision that they know that EOD is at Baron, and all five of them are going to come to contest. And 5v5 team fights are exactly what EOD doesn't want to let happen.
Definitely. Is this supposed to happen? There is a lost chapter on the Israel. And a tier. He's going for the second tier item.
Interesting.
So he'll have a bonus 2,000 mana from both of those. Plus the Iceborne will be a bonus 2,500 mana. He's going to hit 4. It's a Rise 2.0, except with a Mirror mana. Now, I would say that would be smart if he skill with mana, but he doesn't. And the fact that the tier of the goddess turning into archangels don't proc on his Q. His W isn't meant to do damage. So what's he building the staff for? The shield?
I have no idea.
Because honestly, if he managed to proc that at full MP, that would be a massive. I'd love to see that, honestly. That'd be pretty funny.
Galio's a little split off, but that is okay for Jackie Chan because he does have his ultimate available. He is able to make a grand entrance and pop in on his team.
Well, he has that grand entrance and his ultimate, nonetheless. Not his ultimate, his teleport. So, seems like now this map is his. If he so chooses. He did finish off that Negatron cloak, so he has hit quite a bit of armor and magic resist now. Before his magic resist was at a measly 40. Not something you want as a tank. And this goes back to what you said way back before. TTA's vision when they want it is just magnificent in comparison to EOD's.
Mm-hmm.
They're actually pushing, they're challenging for the vision. And good vision leads to good games. As my grandmother always said.
They're doing a good job of managing the battle lines. which is what gives them the leeway to let K9 back off completely from this 5v5 showdown and go back to base. They kind of are able to maintain that strong amount of pressure even while they send someone else to start pressure.
Yeah, definitely. And we see that we have the Echo versus Fizz fight in the sideline earlier on. Up until this point, the fights have always gone to Fizz, but that might turn around.
They have
Those
to
fights.
be careful because the makings of a 4v3 or 4v2 are happening up here in the near Baron, and that is exactly the kind of situation that EOD wants. It looks like K9 is heading over there now.
Yep. How they're trying to make use of Galio's roam pressure, however, there's 2 teleports on the side of EOD, so EOD do have the map spread advantage, so to speak.
Who do you think wins a duel between Fizz and Echo at this point in the game?
At this point, it's hard to say. Echo's damage comes from the fact that even though he has burst, his burst is so consistent. He gets down one rotation of his burst, he can fire up another one almost immediately. And there it is. Fires off one combo, he can still keep damage, and his Q cooldown is so low. However, he is running low on mana at this point, so it's possible that Fizz can turn it around. It's definitely scary to think about right now.
I can't help but think DLC has to make something happen here because the longer they let both teams sit in neutral farm mode, the worse it's going to be for them.
Ezreal just slowly stacking up that tier version 2. It's hard to get my head around this. And it just seems like both teams are sort of afraid to do it. The whole time EOD has been playing down, and as a result, they don't want to force anything because if they go in their favor. The last team fight won because TTA overstepped their bounds, and now TTA realizes they can't just take any fight they choose to, and they feel threatened by the fact that EOD can't fight back, and these fights just can go anyway, and neither team really wants to make them. Now, this last dragon is up, the final dragon of the game, as after this, it will be 6 minutes spawn, and that will be in Elder Dragon territory. It will be a Cloud Drake. Not something that you want to see as either team. A solo Cloud Drake doesn't really accomplish as much as any of the other dragons, save for Ocean, of course. But they already have 2 Oceans on the side of TTA, and another Ocean would definitely be more welcome than a Cloud Drake. Let me tell you that.
Having 2 Cloud Drakes is always really nice because 2 Cloud Drakes is about equivalent to having Moby Boots for your entire team. But a single one, it's not as good unless you can also pick up the Elder.
And we just see with that Abyssal Mask and Galio's tankiness from his W, the Echo really can't challenge the Galio. And the Galio, let's look at this in terms of mana efficiency when it comes to farming. Galio doesn't need to use as much mana as the Echo does in order to farm.
No, because he has his headbutt passive.
Exactly. And the results, by definition, the longer this goes on, the more. As I say, that Nikki side goes in, but it is on the Trundle. Trundle with the subjugate on is very tanky. Down by Dawnbreak. Stun from the cannon, and then cannon goes in. Oh, perfect. Excuse me there. K9 ended up going down to the Baron.
Oh, that is
sitting down on all of TTA. So time choke kill over to Caitlyn. Jackie Chan can only wait and see as his team dies around him.
That is bad news. I think that was crucial misjudgment there on the part of Ford Fusion. Ford Fusion, of course, ran in trying to disrupt and push back the members of EOD that were present, but his Rakan is not tanky enough to stand up to that damage, and he went down. Suddenly putting EOD in a situation where they had a 4v3 match ready for them. They had a 4v3 team fight. And that, like I've said, any number advantage is going to be something they can really capitalize on. So they were able to get in, and they were able to pick up the Fizz. They were able to pick up the Graves, and then the Fizz in short order. And suddenly, Baron was ready for them to take. Unfortunately, it looks like they decided to chase Ezreal instead, but what can you do?
Yeah. The one little Pyrrhic victory you can have for TTA is the fact that they managed to bring EOD so low that they Baron themselves.
Yeah.
So that's the best you can hope for when you lose a fight like that. When you give a triple kill over to Caitlyn, because Caitlyn definitely does not reflect last game's Caitlyn. In fact, the exact opposite.
I think EOD was a little bit too afraid of a possible smite steal from Human each. The better play would have been for Rakan to stay up and closer, because already the threat of a fair fight, a 4v4 team fight, was probably enough to dissuade EOD from going in on that contest.
Yeah. So now both teams are, I would say they're exact even at this point, even though the gold is still in the lead of TTA as it has been all game. When you look at champions, when you look at items, this gold lead really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Oh, we're seeing this Archangel's Ezreal Bork, so this is really, really, really blue Ezreal. So this is like complete Vermilion, wrong color. It's like complete Cerulean Ezreal.
I do have an update, by the way, while we have a quiet moment. Xerox, that won the last match in this block, DYS versus Xerox, has lost to WWM in the meantime and been eliminated from the bracket.
A shame there for a side of Xerox, but all we can hope for is that it was a deserved.
So whoever wins this match will be moving on to face WWM in semifinals.
Yep. However, that semifinals will not be streamed. We will be streaming the winner between TEP versus SSG and the winner between Team XT and JV5. Now, I'm pretty sure every other team is finished. Let me check.
Yep. This is the last match going on for the quarterfinal round.
Due to that pause, really, taking us longer. So after this, the next match to be streamed will be SSG versus XT. I just see Nicky Staggs looking to take some damage on Soraka, but Hop stats Zonia is a little bit too late. Gets taken down by Gumfrey though. Roam down, and here the Ken is honestly just too far out for his own good. Tries to save the Echo. Can't save what's already dead.
On the one hand, I want to say that was great play from Cute Soraka on Echo, but on the other, realistically, it kind of looks like Fizz baited him.
Definitely. And now this will be a 4v5. Both teams losing their mid laner, however. There's no Slicing Maelstrom. There's no Cannon ult on the side of EOD, and that is such a crucial ultimate. That is a huge amount of damage onto Gumfrey, though. Great crit from Dawnbringer. Fjord Fusion taken low as well. And it's just...
Oh no! Where did it all go wrong?
This Caitlyn is too big. This Caitlyn just got a quadra kill.
Dawnbringer clutching it.
Yeah. The Dragon... sorry, not Dragon, Baron ends up taking down the Karma. But this Caitlyn, 10-1-6, no one is focusing this Caitlyn. Has the lifesteal, has the crit, has the damage. And now they can just two-man this Baron. He just have to walk away though. Forcing the heal out of the Caitlyn to keep.
Buckle up, viewers. It's going to be a long game.
Oh boy. What was it? Honestly, it's really funny when you see a Trundle take down the Baron because, boom, all of a sudden itself is back up by another 1,000. So, as we look into the reason for this next
it looks
pause.
like Vemodala needs pause to answer phone call.
Yep. Life waits for no leaking.
Yep. So at this point, it definitely looks like there is a solid opening for EOD to sweep the game. But you can't underestimate the sheer map control that is brought by the turret advantage that DLC is currently sitting on. So if they can, if they reset right now, by the time they get up, most of DLC will still be will be up and ready to fight at the turret.
And it's interesting to know why they won that team fight so handily. The best member to kill the Caitlyn in that on the side of TTA, the Fizz wasn't there, and without the Fizz, it's way too hard to dive.
Yep.
The Caitlyn, you try diving with the Rakan just dies in the end. Rakan doesn't have nearly enough tankiness compared to Fizz's invulnerability.
I think with how long it takes to kill Baron these days, the better move there would have been to bait the Baron fight, but then engage onto them. Take advantage of the fact that they had a 4v3 numbers advantage.
For sure. Baron really feels like it did back in the older seasons where you really had a big advantage in order to take it.
Yeah. Which honestly feels good.
It feels right, you know?
It was too easy to sneak.
You have such a huge objective like the Baron, you shouldn't be able to sneak that so easily.
And we're back.
Yep, we are back. The phone call is over as side of EOD backs off with their newly acquired Baron buff.
We're about 8 seconds out from the entirety of DLC being back up and ready to defend. But Echo is making an early start of pushing in that bot lane.
Yeah, finally finished off that bot lane when the Fizz is there. Now, this is interesting. We see the Kennen changing his teleport finally and decides to. I think that's the right move. Kennen hasn't really been able to use to, his advantage. We haven't really seen any crazy teleports, any game-changing teleports coming out. And Exhaust will definitely be able to keep himself alive and his carries. Now that turret advantage is becoming smaller and smaller as this 3 cannon minions crash down on the top inner turrets. Looks like TTA doesn't have anything to challenge us right now. Caitlyn just bashed down turret. Of course, Caitlyn is known one of the best siege, if not the best siege AD carry.
And
oh
boy,
Rocco, however, gets taunted up, forced to use that Chrono Break to go out. However, Jackie Chan is stunned up. That is a stun Galio. Galio end up using his ultimate to take himself out, and finally on the backside, Nikki Staggs takes out the Caitlyn, traces his own life. Response, but it might have been worth it. Jackie Chan goes back in, gets the damage down, and without the Caitlyn, EOD are just crumbling at the edges. Karma has a runaway, watch her team just fall away, and that is exactly what TTA needed, exactly what they needed to do. Great focus from Nikki Staggs. Trading his life for the Caitlyn's, take that any day of the week.
Baron buff now removed from every member of EOD except focus on Karma, and they're on the back foot again suddenly. See, this is what I'm saying. Yes, Baron buff is very strong. Yes, EOD was in a very good position with most of DLC being down for the count. But in order to break base, they had to get through 2 turrets and an inhibitor. At least. And that takes time. And DLC, they rally from their mistakes quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Ooh, close there, but Elder Dragon does go over to the side of TTA, and that is an Elder 2 Oceans and Infernal. So that would be equivalent of 1.5 Infernals and 3 Ocean Dragons, along with the burn damage that comes along with the Elder Dragon. That burn damage will be equal to 180 damage per tick. Not per tick, per 180 damage over 3 seconds. So that'd be 60 true damage per tick. It's like
Ouch.
it's like having 2 red buffs on every single member of your team.
That's pretty crazy.
Definitely. Do these ticks stack with each other, with separate members?
I don't know.
I know it stacks with red buff.
I would assume not, but I really don't know.
Yeah. It would seem broken if it does. It would be, if you manage to get all 5 members onto one person, 302 damage per second, that would be too much to think of.
Yeah. And here we're starting to see why Fizz has such an impressive vision score right now. Taking every opportunity to roam around and clear out all the control wards.
Right. The Karma's vision score just ticked up right there, but just before that, we had Fizz having the #1 vision score in the game. That's not something you say.
As Nikki Staggs has for most of the game so far.
Yeah, for sure. Now they're sieging up this top turret. This might be the one fight to decide which way this goes. 40 minutes.
I have a very strong feeling that this turret is lost, and if EOD tries to defend it, DLC will win.
Definitely, it's too risky to defend this turret. It's better to defend it where you have more stand. A place where it's harder for the Fizz to get to you. It's too easy for Fizz to get to you in the turret. You go back to your heavier turret, Fizz has to dive way too far, and here comes the Fizz ultimate. It's no one.
Not gonna pick up anyone.
I just think it's kind of funny. Whenever Karma maybe just like it's like calling out your own name when you use a special ability. Imagine like Kennen yelling Kennen every single time he goes in with slicing up.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Is there any champion that does that? I guess Narc might have yelled
Draven.
Draven, yes, Draven.
Draven does.
It's always about Draven.
Always. And it looks like they're going back for a full reset now rather than pushing on to break base. Might be probably a smart move considering that there aren't really any neutral objectives that they're leaving vulnerable by doing this. And they do need to not ignore that side wave at bot.
This game keeps on going. Baron comes up in less than 30 seconds. The third Baron, and I don't know, maybe this Baron will be as impactful as last one's. But as far as we've seen, in the Baron fights, the Baron does most.
So here's the interesting question, and I believe that this is what's on the mind of DLC right now. What's more worthwhile, going to contest Baron or fighting and trying to break base?
And here comes the fight. Human H goes in with the subjugates. He has channel. This is kind of weird, you channel up, you're stuck there, and you can't even move very far. Here comes Nikki Staggs, goes on, focus on to the 80 carry and Dawnbringer, and that's what you need to have. However, the mid laner dies and kills Soraka. That might just be what they need. Trades his life for the enemy mid laners. However, this whole time, Caitlyn is untouched, and that is what EOD wants. That's what EOD needs. Caitlyn just free firing. Backline gets 1 crit, gets 2 crit, gets all these crits on Gunfrey. TT has run for the hills, and another big crit takes down Gunfrey, forces his Guardian Angels, and that would just be a dead Ezreal. Another dead Graves as well, another trap. It's just too easy for Caitlyn to get these kills when someone's... That's what happens when you don't go...
I know, I think this was a situation where Nikki Staggs made a colossal mistake. He went way too wide with his flank down past Raptors, and he left his team in a 5v4 scenario, and Galio went down at the very beginning of the fight. And Galio is the only real bit of tankiness that DLC has right now. This might be game because of that atrocious pathing.
They decided back off, however, as Galio came back up. Fizz will be back up very soon.
They're doing exactly what they need to do. They're playing it safe. They're taking those incremental advantages. Because the fact that base is broken, that they've got the first inhibitor, makes it 10 times easier for them to split push. Because there's going to be constant pressure in the mid lane.
Definitely. Oh, and here comes the mantra up W onto Fort Fusion, using every bit of damage. However, the cannon ultimate was just a sliver, a hair of 2 shorts. Fort Fusion managed to get himself with a black going. I just want to look at how much protection is on Caitlyn right now. You got Caitlyn, you have Bloodthirster for herself, and Mercurius. You have everything that Karma offers. You got a Knight's Vow and another Parallel Convergence on, not Parallel Convergence, a Zeke's Convergence on the side of Trundle. You get everything down on this Caitlyn. She just carries you all the way through. And yeah, as you said, Nick Staggs just went too wide with his abilities as well. You know, you put something on the Echo, put some stuff on the Karma, yet none of it went on to Caitlyn.
I think the problem might be the comp from the very beginning. Fizz kind of feels at this point like an assassin on a team comp that doesn't need an assassin.
They see the 2 backs. They did see the 2 backs, but now they're chasing too far. Karma and Echo has regrouped the team.
They should bait, but not fight. They're baiting. They need to bait, but not fight. Yeah, as evidenced by Nikki Staggs just sitting there and waiting in the bush.
Yep, this is tense. This is way too tense. If EOD wins this fight, they win the game. As if TTA wins the fight, they might win the game. It might be hard to tell. You know, they have to clear quite a few waves. All the waves are pushing into TTA's base. And as a result, TTA has to go and clear the waves. This gives priority of Baron over to side of E. No, they cannot.
This is exactly what they want. I mean, TTA is split. EOD could do this right now. They want to pick.
Definitely could. You see all those traps on the side of the entrance to the river. You cannot just go in. It's what they need.
Cole is baiting.
Because what happens here with the traps is you start Baron. If they try to come in and contest, you come off Baron, you hit all the headshots on whoever stands on Caitlyn trap, you do so much damage that's and the NTTA can't contest. Nick Staggs forced to use
There it is. Nicky Staggs is going down.
Uses his Azanias at the right time, but stunned up, cannot move. Caitlyn trapped there. Jackie Chan comes out a second too late, gets the 2-man stun down. But once again, the Caitlyn is not touched. Caitlyn's just firing 1, firing down 2, firing down 3. It's not going to be a pentakill, but it might as well be as Caitlyn is doing all the damage right now. Create K9 doing what he can, but has to run away as the rest of the team.
And that is it. GG.
Yeah. That will be GG there. Triple kill for the Echo. And after a 47, finally goes over the side of EOD.
In a team comp that should have been all about grouping, Nicky Staggs insisted on again and again splitting off at the worst moments, whether for big, wide, questionable flanks or for just getting baited. That was oof. Ah, my God. That's really disappointing. And I have to say, massive throw from Nicky Staggs.
Definitely. Yeah, I'll just start in that bot lane fight way back.
So I have no question in my mind. Dawnbringer gets MVP for that match.
Definitely. He was the reason why they won. And if he survived team fight, they won the fight. Done team fight, they lost the fight. Simple as that.
Yep. Most damage in the game by over 10,000 with almost 40k damage. Next most damage in the game was on Graves with 28.
Lovely. Oh, that's just sad to see when Graves outdamages the Echo. I mean, not the Echo, the Ezreal outdamages Fizz. That's not what's supposed to happen.
Just really, really rough. DLC had that in the bag, but, well, we're seeing, sad to say, that in some ways this is still the same DLC from last season, who lost in an upset match to Team 18. But we're going to be going to break here in a little bit. In a little bit, a brand new, fresh streaming and casting team will be coming at you with the semifinals, Matt.
Yeah. And because it will be a new casting team, we will have to cut here. And as a result, the stream will go back live in just as that's.
So we will see you in a bit.